for note-taking purposes.
Okay, so then let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 2:05. So I see here we have introductions of new members and staff. Do we have any of those? If not, so we need.
We do
we
have.
need to do a roll call.
We do
Go
have
ahead, sorry.
new member from Water Resources. So Daniela Cazares was our was one of our staff, and she moved over to Habimatal as environmental director. Jordan Beaton is here, and she's replacing Daniela and working with illicit discharge and the trash plan. So I don't know if you want to say hi, Jordan.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Also,
Right,
I just
so-
wanted to say hi to everybody. I am attending now, not as a representative of Lakeport anymore, but just listening in on community development side. Thanks. But I don't think I'm a member, so feel free to ignore me. I'm just hanging out. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to your new position there. So,
Thank you.
okay. So then I guess we need to have roll call. So who's going to do that one? Do I need to do it?
I can do that. Let me look up the participant list here. So from let's do City of Clear Lake first. Representatives.
Joyce Overton and
Russ Kramer.
Great. And also Kylie.
Kylie Clark, Stormwater Coordinator.
Great. We don't have anybody from City of Clear Lake or Lakeport here today, so we'll do county. Let's do Board of Soups.
Eddie Crandall, Lake County Board of Supervisors, and I think I'm not sure if Supervisor Sabatier is here, but he said he may be. Yeah, he's here. Okay.
I'm right here. I'm the alternate.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Marina De La Janis, Deputy Water Resources Director for the Watershed Protection District.
Angela DePalma-Dow. I am the Stormwater Coordinator representing County Water Resources also. And I believe my alternate is Jordan, and then Marina, your alternate is Scott, correct?
That is correct, and Scott
Okay,
is not present today.
Scott is not here, yes, okay. And then we do, looks like have one member of the public here, Betsy Kahn. And then we have Maria Turner for CDD right now. Great.
Great. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Our first action item is going to be approval of the minutes for August 11th, 2022. Hopefully everybody got that attachment and read it. And if there's any changes, anybody have any changes to it? No? Okay, so I'm going to abstain from this because I was not at that meeting. Russ Kramer was, so he'll be the voting person on this. So all in
Make a
favor?
motion. No, there's a motion.
Go ahead, make a motion.
Make a
I'll
motion
second.
to accept the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second?
Eddie Crandall seconds.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. Do we need a roll call, right? Because we're doing Zoom.
We have alternated between that depending on who the chair is. So if you as the chair today prefer to do a roll call for the yays and nays, you can, or you can just ask for any opposed, and we've done it that way.
Okay, so is there anybody opposed to the minutes? No, and I abstain from them. Okay, so the next thing is there's any consideration for any items not posted on the agenda that needs to be added?
I have, oops, I'm skipping. Okay, yeah, so I did not add this to the agenda, but we're doing this meeting for remotely, and a lot of meetings that have been meeting, we've been having discussions about going back to in-person. Just for the nature of this meeting that we are all located around the lake, we're just gonna keep it remote for now. And if there's any request to go back in person, let me know, or I could add that item, do an official action item on the next meeting's agenda. Or if we just want to keep it as remote, especially going into the winter season, the next couple meetings, we'll have one, I think, in February and then in spring.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, is that something that we probably need to put on an agenda to discuss? on our next agenda? I mean, I'm fine with keeping it remote, but is there anybody not fine with keeping it remote for now? No? So maybe we keep it remote until spring and maybe put it on one of the next spring, you know, agendas, and then we can kind of talk to see if we want to go in person or not. So, okay, old business.
Oh, I have two more
Acronyms.
updates, sorry.
Okay,
They're not
ahead.
posted on the agenda. The urban stormwater monitoring, we literally just did a sampling this week because we had a little storm blip. Most of county sites were still dry. However, we did get water in the city of Lakeport site and the city of Clear Lake site, and 2 sites for county at North Lakeport and Canocti Riviera site. So just wanted to get you guys know because the cities have a contract with the county to do sampling during stormwater events, and we had one with the little bit of rain we did have, and you guys did get some flush at both cities. So just to let you know. And then the county of Lake is going through a revamp of our website. So updates to the website or the whole website for county will be updated November 15th. There's some things that I needed to post for this meeting on the website, but we're gonna have to repost them and I want them to get lost. So just know that if there's any as we add website, it'll be added after November 15th, particularly for this meeting, if it hasn't been already posted, just to let you know about that.
Anything else, Miss Angela?
I don't have anything. There's a public comment question on that.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Betsy.
Hi, Joyce.
Hello, dear.
Yeah, thanks for letting me speak on this issue. I would really appreciate it, Angela, if you would send out a new solicitation for the meeting agendas or whatever it is, rather than sending out a continuing email from past meetings. If we could start, you know, with a whole new thing every time we have a quarterly meeting, if we could have a fresh invitation with a new Zoom link, if that would be possible. Thank you.
Yeah. This last week got confusing because our Zoom account actually switched. So I have my own, we have a different Zoom account. So all the Zooms are no longer valid and have to be replaced. So this was the only time it was weird like that. And then the agenda that's posted on the Management Council website showed here always has the most current and the accurate login information. So that's where the public can get the most, the login by going to that agenda, and that'll be the accurate one, as opposed to email. So but this time was just a blip because the Zoom account got changed, just FYI. But yes, I will note that and make sure I do that.
Thanks very much.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so we're going to move on. I guess you're just going to stay on this right for old business acronym cheat sheets. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments on this?
I added 2 things to this. And again, this is one of the things we'll update on November 16th, just so we can make sure it gets updated with the new website. Oh, it looks like we have Bethany joining. I think she was traveling. Welcome, Bethany, from City of Lakeport.
Good. All right, Bethany. So does anybody have any comments on that? All right, moving on to B, extension of the parathyroid monitoring reimbursement agreement. Okay, so is that also going to be you, Angela?
Yeah. I know it seems like we've been going on forever with the pyrethroid. We finally got both of these plans approved at the state. So it has state signature on it. They're approved. So we can start monitoring anytime. We're about a year behind schedule. So the contract that we signed between the county and the 2 cities, we just want to add an time extension to those dates and have those re-signed, just so we can make sure that we can do the sampling and get reimbursed for that work as intended. And I did put some extended timelines in there, both to make sure that we could do the monitoring in case there's another drought, let's say, event. We don't have any spring rain. We're not gonna be able to sample wet events until 2024. So I wanna make sure that we have enough time with 2 years, 2023, 2024, to get all the monitoring done. And then I also have the contract actually go till 2025, because we have to do reporting, analysis, maybe there's some follow-up with the state, all of that, we just want to make sure is all included. So it's a pretty significant change in the timeline, but I don't want to have to come back again, you know, in 6 months and can we ask for an extension stuff? So that's all the change that's in there is just these dates for monitoring the actual sampling to be completed by 2024, but the actual contract to be completely done by 2025.
Okay, so you just need an approval of the extension?
Yeah, and then I will be sending those to the respected parties. Again, at the city of Lakeport, it seems like the staff has been a lot of turnover and leaving, so I don't have a contact for who would be on that actual reimbursement agreement now.
Angela, you could add me. It's Bethany.
Great. I will do that. Thank you.
So then I need a motion to approve the extension. Does anybody like to make that motion?
I will motion. EJ Crandall will motion.
Russ Kramer, I'll
Second.
second.
All right, so EJ for the first motion and Russ Kramer for second. So I think we probably do need to have a roll call on this one. So Angela, can you do that for me?
Yeah, and Kelly, I just want to make sure you can hear to record the roll call. Kelly, I didn't introduce her, but she's in our doing the minutes today.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. So we'll do City of Lakeport, Joyce Overton
Yes.
and Kylie Clark,
Yes.
City of Lakeport, Bethany Moss.
Yes.
Great. Lake County, Marina,
Yes.
and myself, Angela, I say yes. Did I get everybody?
No, you can get me.
You're alternate though,
Oh, okay, perfect.
but we'll note
Because
that you had
Lakeport
no
came in.
disagreement.
Since I
I'll
seconded, since I seconded the motion.
Oh, yeah.
And that either.
I say yes too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it's Lake County. I was getting your. Thanks, EJ.
Thank you, Angela. So did we get everybody? All right, so let's go on to C, update on the EOA incorporated lid documents. Additional items, approve estimated timeline for December 31st, 2024. Is that separate? That's separate from what we did, right?
Yeah. So this is low impact development. And this is based a requirement in the permit. We want to work with the EOA and we want to incorporate the new permit requirements. So we don't, again, have to come back in 5 years and redo a whole bunch of work. And so we were waiting till we got more information from Water Board when the new permit would come out and they keep pushing it back. So this timeline, we just want to make sure it aligns with the state. So again, I have it up till 2024. And starting the first of the year 2023. There's some work EOA can do before the permit's released. There's a bunch of stuff, a requirement for LID that we haven't met since 2013,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So we have a lot we can catch up on, but we want to make sure we give enough time for new permit requirements to go in there and then do all the training with staff. So again, that extension, if anybody thinks that extension should be longer to be safer, I can do that. Or if we want to have a discussion on that, but that was the purpose of this item.
Right. So since it's been so long, is a year enough time to get caught up on everything?
You know, I asked EOA and they said it seems like that would be fine because this would be the new permit is a draft's expected to come out in 2023 in the spring with a final at 2023, the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. And EOA is once a draft is done, there's not much changes between the draft and the official. So EOA will be able to work on the document with that information of the draft. But if we want to add another year to be safe, that's something I can do if you guys want to approve this item with that contingency.
I just want to make sure that, I mean, I'd like to get caught up on all this stuff. 2013 is kind of a long time here. So, I mean, I'd like to try to make sure we have enough time to get everything in order and up to date so that when we go back, we don't have this hanging over our heads anymore, that we can stay on track. So I think that's, I mean, if you feel that's enough time, I'm okay with that, but I just don't want to have to, I mean, if it's not enough time, do we come back to the board and discuss another year, or?
Yeah, if it's not enough time, like it's just, let's say it's like the management council meeting in September of 2024, and we still realize we have a lot more work to do, and we haven't, you know, paid out our contract with EOA at all, you know, because we've still been waiting for work, then we would come back and ask the council to, you know, do a time extension amendment to that. Or we could just add that year now. It's really hard to
Why don't we
say.
add it?
Things always take longer than they think, than we
Right.
think, right? But
Right,
I
and
didn't want to
so-
put that in there without asking you guys first.
I mean, I think we should extend it to 2025 myself. I mean, does
Okay.
anybody have any objections to that? Because we're very far behind on this. We're talking 2013, and we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on and get it all into regulations. And I would hate to have to come back and extend it again. It would just be nice to just know we have this much time to get it done, and it needs to be done by 2025. I mean, that's, to me, is as long as we can go. Does anybody have any objections to that?
No objection here.
Okay, so I can make a motion that we accept the extended timeline with the contingency. I'll change it to end on December 31st, 2025.
You have a second?
I will second. EJ Crandall.
Okay. Is there any objections to this? Okay, motion carries then.
And then we do have a comment, public comment on this item.
Sorry, Betsy.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to explain, Joyce, because you're probably, you know, you just jumped in on this one. Thank you so much for doing that. But EOA has a firm grip on what we need to do. It's not like nothing has happened since 2013. EOA has been involved in the county development of these plans for a very long time. Angela has worked with them on this particular project, and they're extremely well tuned to what we need in particular. So yeah, it's fine to extend it if you want to. It's but I just want to assure you, this isn't just starting now with EOA. They're on board with us.
And I understand that, Betsy. I mean, I keep track of this stuff. So, but I would really like to just get everything, if possible, caught up, and that way we don't have it hanging over for, you know, more and more and more. Just gets worse if we don't keep it. And I know that they're working on it, but I think we need to start really getting this stuff taken care of. So I say to extend it to 2025 is great. That way, by that time, I am hoping that we're caught up on everything, and that the EOA has worked with us to get everything done. So I do understand that. So
Yeah, and the
right,
extended deadline will really help for the new permit. So we'll be caught up. Like right now, we're way behind. The idea is that we'll be caught up very early in the next permit cycle and be in compliance for that item, like for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's really important for that extended date, to make sure that EOA helps us get up to that point. So we get caught up and then we
Right.
get ahead is actually the goal.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for too, because I'd like to see this caught up, and then you know, we're ahead of the game. I'd like that idea. So
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
so,
do have an item. Sorry, keep going, Joyce. Sorry.
No, are we okay with that item then? Everybody's okay with that. So the motion carried. So we're going on to the storm water program sustainability.
Yeah, let's
And is that Marina?
before that, sorry to interrupt. We did have some notes, and I just got it from EOA actually this week, so that's why it's not in the agenda. But the new permit, what we can expect would be some of these things added to the industrial commercial inspections, some requirements to post-construction, which is like design requirements when someone's proposing to build something, and some asset management items here. There's a lot of things of actually going through and inventorying what your structure is. So how many storm drains you have, how old they are, when they were built, their size, are they actually able to account for water flowing through them from the area that drains there. There's also going to be a new requirement for us to be in charge of schools and stormwater, which is really hard for, we have a lot of different school districts, schools here in Lake County, and now the permit holders, the jurisdiction, are going to be in charge of making sure the schools are complying with their stormwater. The last thing it looked like that's significant is having to account for costs of your program. So looking about, how much does it cost to actually manage a stormwater program? Capital costs. If we build something, replace a culvert, how much does that cost? If we're putting in, water quality monitoring, we have a good idea of how much that costs, but they're going to start requiring to know how much things are costing for this program. And the reason is because a lot of folks are saying they can't comply with the permit because it costs too much. So now the state is saying, okay, tell us how much it costs. And then they're saying, oh, then we'll be able to make more funds available, grants, or be able to adjust requirements, et cetera. But the first stage is that cost. So there is, as you can imagine, a cost associated with trying to figure out how much stuff costs and tracking the program. And so that's why the permit is taking so long, because a lot of interested parties are trying to negotiate that with the state and trying to, if we're in here spending, 20 hours a week, actually itemizing capital costs and costs of managing a program, that's 20 hours we're not out in the field actually building stuff, or money that we're not using, to actually inspect BMPs. And so just giving you an idea of the new requirements for the new permit. So we are behind in our previous permit, and now we're going in a new permit cycle behind and with a whole bunch of new requirements to do. So that's why this is a segue into the sustainability for needing more, program sustainability and more help with tracking and managing this program for those new permit requirements. So sorry for interrupting you, Joyce, but I just want to mention that. And this was an update I got from EOA actually this week. So that's why it's not in the agenda.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. I mean, it just seems like they keep adding to us, but funding is already tight. So it's like, like you said, we're spending more time trying to keep track of everything than actually doing the work. So, unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So, okay, so we're going on to the stormwater program sustainability, and is that going to be Marina?
I think so.
Or Scott? Scott's not on, so it's Marina, right?
Yeah, hi everyone. So Daniela, the former Water Resources Program Coordinator, started an RFQ draft to onboard a consultant to help with this position, the Stormwater Coordinator position. And that was based off of discussions that Director Scott DeLeon had with both of the city managers. And again, we brought this to the council just for their for the information and for your guys' approval and notice of the approach that we would be taking. So currently staff are working on finalizing the RFQ. Once we get that RFQ out, I don't have an exact date. I don't know if Angela or Jordan can elaborate a little bit more on it, since they have kindly taken it on since Daniela stepped away. We'll be getting the RFQ out, and then we'll my intent is to have someone from each jurisdiction to sit on that council or that panel to review those contracts that or the proposals that we get in from the RFQ. Of course, we'll be following the county purchasing code as well. So that's the update I have. Are there any questions right now?
Questions from anybody?
And Angela and Jordan, I don't know if you have anything else to elaborate that I may have missed.
No, you summed it up. I don't have a date estimate of when we'll get that. It's kind of like we need help to work in the program, and that takes time, and then it takes time away from us being able to work on the RFQ to get more help into the program. So it's like a vicious cycle.
This whole thing is a vicious cycle. It just goes over and over. It's just like it never ends. So I do appreciate your guys' hard work on all of this. So very much, as I know it's been a hard task for everybody. So okay, so if there's no questions,
I think the goal would be to get something on in contract by the time the new permit drops. So we're starting fresh in a new permit cycle. We have somebody that can go with, that can go from there. I think that would be a good goal, realistically.
Yeah, I like that. So when is the RFQ deadline?
We don't have one established yet, but you know, if we want, if we're estimating that a new permit will be, you know, at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, then we should have RFQ maybe by January. So then we have 3 or 4 months to get proposals and selection, and then a couple months to get contracting. But I think the selection is going to take a longer period since we are working with all 3 jurisdictions, and making sure that the potential consultant would work with all of us, be able to handle this particular unique MS4.
Right, right. Okay, well, thank you very much for doing all that. Thank you, Marina. I appreciate it. Okay, so going on to new business, update on the SMART annual reporting 2021-2022, monitoring results reviews. And that must be our Miss Angela again.
So all of the smarts is public information, but you can go on there and see the report. I just had Lake County numbers in here. I sent a request to Lakeport and Clear Lake, haven't got those yet, but maybe they have those, they can talk about that. But the report basically has boxes and questions, and what I did here is put in the percentage or the fraction of the compliance that we're meeting. So if you're looking at, say, program management, we meet 1 of the items out of the 3 that are required. And then the +0 means there's been 0 change since last year. So if you look at the public education outreach participation program, we've met 8 out of 8 of the components of that section of the permit. And we increased, last year we were at 7, 8. This year we've improved by 1. This is for Lake County. I'm hoping to get this information completed for Lakeport and Clear Lake, and we'll be able to update the council on the next meeting for both of those. Overall, we've improved illicit discharge, muni, pollution prevention, housekeeping. The county is not improved in construction and post-construction for this last year. I'm not sure, Kylie, did you have any information on yours?
No, sorry, Angela, I didn't realize that you'd requested that information. I didn't have anything prepared for it, but I know that we did improve a bit. I think we're probably around the same as the county right now, but I'll get that information to you so we can report at the next council meeting. But yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Kylie.
Thanks. And Bethany, you just started your job, so don't worry about that. We'll work with you and help you get this, figure out where to get this. And then there is a question from the public here from Betsy.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. Yeah, same with Kylie. I didn't know that we needed to provide percentages for this meeting or anything like that, but I do know that there was improvements from the last submittal. So I can get that to you. Like Kylie, we're both new, and so we both need guidance, not to speak on her behalf, but to know exactly what we are supposed to do for these meetings would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, and then and we had a hand raised from, I'm assuming Betsy.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say that for the year of 2022, every month, KPFZ on our Sunday afternoon disaster mitigation programs, Angela Dow has been participating in our water issues report once a month. She does this on her own time. She is a really, really excellent spokesperson for all of your programs, and our listeners really appreciate getting these updates from her. So I'm just very appreciative, and I'd like to acknowledge that that's a terrific piece of work. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you,
Thanks, Betsy.
Yes, you're right. What would we do without you, Angela?
We're just trying to get people excited about stormwater.
Yeah. So, okay. So the next one is reviewing of the Forest Creek study, a city of Lakeport, and review of the stormwater plan for the city park of Lakeport and Clear Lake. So, city of Lakeport, do we have some information on the review?
I do have information that I can share as far as the 2 reports go. We did notify that today is our day off into hopes to reschedule this meeting. So I am about to board a plane that was delayed. So I got to jump on the meeting. So I don't have that with me, but I can share it with the group when we get back to work on Monday.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Okay, review of the stormwater plans for the city parks of the city of Lakeport and the city of Clear Lake. Who would like to go first?
I'll go ahead. This is Kylie with the City of Clear Lake. As
you.
far as stormwater plans for parks specifically, there's nothing currently in the works, but we do have a new grant coming, which Adeline Leba, who is now the Public Works Director of City of Clear Lake, she's in a meeting currently, a kickoff meeting, which is discussing how they're going to spend that new grant money, and that's all going towards stormwater drainage citywide. So I'm assuming that some portion of that grant will go towards improving the city parks. So that's good news. And when they do get some actual plans in motion for what they're going to do with that, I will share that with the group.
Hey, Kylie, can
Thank
we
you,
just
Kylie.
have a standing item in the management council for review of, what's going on with stormwater and the drainage plan and work for the city of Clear Lake? So
Yeah.
At every quarter meeting, management council meeting, we'll just have an updated item for that and just do a review. And if you have photos or plans or anything you could show, or just, a list of things that are going on, that would be great. So we can.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, great. And I'll do the same thing for Bethany. I think she jumped on her plane, so I'll let them know at Lakeport. Same thing.
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Kylie, for that update. Okay. So number 7, work group status update. So we got the CON and PCON. So going to go with going to be doing that one.
Yeah, the staff person they had leading those is no longer there. So I'll work with Bethany to get that back up and running. I think she'll be taking that on. But Kylie is still here for Muni Good Housekeeping.
For Muni and
Okay,
Good
okay.
Housekeeping, I still need to schedule our next meeting for this quarter. I'm sure that will be December, maybe the 1st or 2nd week of December. I'll send that out probably this week or next week, an invite for that. We're doing well, I think, in that work group. Still working on a inspection checklist for checking permitting on facilities, and that will help with our next year's smarts reporting. I think that is like 2 or 3 items on that, which will be able to be checked off next year. So once we finish that, then we're gonna discuss with the group what our next focus and goal will be, to also take some more or get some more things towards our smarts reporting. So that's it.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Bethany. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going on. Anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay. We're going on to the outreach public participation. Angela?
So this, the most recent event we had was the Coastal Cleanup Day, and some of the results from that. Whoop. We had 70 volunteers, over 2,700 pounds of trash was collected, 150 pounds of recycles, up to 30 miles were covered for this event. And the most unusual item picked up was a car seat. It's not like a baby car seat, but like the seat from a car, I'm told. And so just an example of some of the participants and some of the trash that was recovered. And that was September 17th. We plan on doing this again next year. And then also having more cleanup events. We have a big grant from Blue Ribbon Committee to do more of these events. So if any of the jurisdictions or anybody's interested or has an organization that wants to do a cleanup, let us know. Jordan is working now with that grant, and she and I can help facilitate any of those creek cleanups or any cleanup that has to do with anything around waterways.
Okay, that's great. I mean, that's a lot. I know that was a mess over there, so.
Angela,
Yeah.
Austin and I were here in Lucerne Harbor and we found a mattress we couldn't get out, but I know that Public Services came and got it. Pretty sure they came and got it. They said they had to get it out. But it was pretty
Gnarly.
wedged into the ground. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty far. And I know that's not probably more unusual than a car seat, like an actual car. But it was out there. So
I'm glad it got picked up. One of the things that the grant funds have too is to get a contractor that would basically be like on call when there is a dump or clean up beyond the capability of individuals being able to handpick, that we can cut the contractor that can go in and they can clean up that too. So that'll require probably going out to bid and getting that contractor on there, but it should be 3 years of that availability with those grant funds. So, but I'm glad Public Services was able to get that mattress.
Yeah, did you find a lot of tires? It seems like most people that call me are complaining about the tires in the lakes.
There were a few tires found, yes. Not a ton in all of the regions that we had sites, but yes, we definitely had some tires picked up.
Okay, so while we're on there, Jordan, you want to go ahead and do the trash and the IDD?
I have one more item for the sorry.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
The Clean Water Program is one of the partners on this, but on our website, we do have this this activity book. And I just want to make sure you guys are aware of it and distribute it. If you have any organizations or friends or anybody that's looking for some activities that are water resource focused. And we are looking to make it into like a bound book. We just need 2 more page contributions to that. So I'm trying to get those together. But it's on our website and I'm trying to see if I could share what that looks like. With you guys here. Okay, so here we go. You guys can see this, the book, and we have hard copies in our office. We can send them somewhere. But we've had them at some events. And so we have crossword puzzle. We've talked about the water cycle, the critters that live in Clear Lake. There's also find a word, some plants here that they can color in, some critters. This is Highland Springs. This is Highland Springs Reservoir. Look, search for the image and then the answer. So we're looking for 2 more pages. If anybody has ideas or anybody that wants to contribute a page or you have something to add in, that would be great. But just want to let you guys know because the Clean Water Program logo and is on there as a partner contributing to this. And it satisfies our some of our outreach requirements too and education. So, okay, that was it.
Okay, great. Looking good. So if anybody has anything they want to add to it, make sure that we get it over to Angela. So, okay, so Jordan, did you want to do the trash and the IDD?
Sure. Being new to this, I don't have a whole lot of an update to give you guys right now, other than we did get our grant for that and I'm really excited about it. And now I've got to get to work implementing it. Yeah, I think that's all I've got right now.
You were responding to a spill today, so.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if I was going to say that. I did respond to a spill today. It was reported yesterday at Lucerne Elementary School. Somebody broke into their campus and drilled a hole in one of their little passenger buses. Such a shame, and it leaked gas right into the storm drain that goes out into a little unknown creek, which then goes straight to lake. So I worked on that today and we got it all taken care of. So yeah.
Okay. So
Thanks, Jordan.
thank you very much. Okay, so anybody have any questions or comments on that?
So
I have a quick question. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I know that I get an email from special districts if there's any kind of sewer spills. Do you collect that information as well?
We are on the Cal OES list for notifications, but as far as like sewer itself, that's a hazardous material, and I don't think that we would be, that would be environmental health.
but I mean, in order for you to understand what's going into the lake, do you just collect the data after the fact? Obviously, you're not there to clean it up, but I'm just curious how that data mixes in with your efforts in making sure that what goes into the lake is as clean as possible.
Yeah, we don't get the notification from special districts. We can, we should request that, Jordan, so we can get that. Special districts has to report to Cal OES when they have a discharge. So we get those reports. So if they're releasing, if there's a leak or discharge that's not going to Cal OES, we're not getting those. And the state then requires reporting on only the discharges or leaks that occur in the MS4 areas. We track everything, whether it's in MS4 areas or outside of MS4 areas, and then we do responses if needed. But the state really only requires the reporting and the specific procedures for the ones that are in the MS4 areas. And then the ones that go through the Cal OES Warning Center.
Any other questions? Comments?
Comment,
And
you drill a hole through a bus? Really? Really? Totally don't get that, but I'm glad that we were all over it quickly.
Yeah, it was in an effort to siphon out that gasoline. You know, gas prices are so high these days.
Very good.
But this opens a good point
Okay.
because right now, the way the permit is, we can go response, but we can't make the school do anything. When we get a permit, the next permit is going to have stormwater requirements for schools. But then it's where, you know, we can say, you guys have to have response. It's just hard to get that enforcement level just from like the state permits. Even the state permit requirement is in there. You know, we could send down our stormwater inspector and do a violation, if, you know, or have them do requirements and come back and check on them, but it's going to add another layer of difficulty for requiring all the schools to have a spill kit and be trained in spill response and be able to do those kinds of things to prevent stormwater impacts.
I had a question.
Okay,
This
go
is
ahead.
TJ. And so, Angela, I'm thinking of something where, you know, they drilled a hole into the gas tank. It's a contaminant. It's I would think it's an environmental charge or something like that. I mean, I really want to look at some of these things that a lot of our districts and our areas and towns are dealing with when it comes to stealing, catalytic converters and all of these other things. And it's kind of going unchecked and and those type of things. But like harsher punishments on things like contamination when it comes to finding out who did it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but I'm so frustrated, and I want to do something or put something in place where we could, take care of this or have something in place to deter it. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and part of the current grant that we got, that Jordan's managing, has funds specifically in there for code enforcement. So we can go after some of these with a little more teeth. Right now, the way the water resources kind of manages the permit, which has requirements in it, but planning department and code enforcement are the ones that actually can go out and do the violations and charge the citations. And code enforcement is already totally full with a bunch of stuff. So we have those funds in that grant, at least for the next 3 or 4 years, to get more code enforcement involvement, maybe contract something separately, just to get that response, to get more teeth. Once you get the word out and people are actually like, oh, don't contaminate because it's going to be a fine, they're going to find you. Once you get those deterrents in place, it should result in less impacts. But I agree with you. It's trying to figure out how to get the teeth to prevent these things and to have that enforcement, especially when there's not an easily identifiable responsible party. Like they don't know exactly who it was that drilled it. Do we hold the school responsible? And then what does that look like? And they don't have fun. So it's difficult.
And EJ, I would say that that's something that could be implemented into a future ordinance. I know that I did speak with Maria about a illegal dumping ordinance, one that had come from the solid waste task force that we had talked about. And so maybe that's something that we can add, where there can be a little additional strike depending on the hazardous material that's found.
Not a
And
bad idea.
that's a great point, Bruno, too, because we have some Blue Ribbon Committee funds coming in May of 2023. And I have about 300,000 for support for updating the ordinances that we have and creating some of those like authorities to be able to have more, like we said, more impact from the agency side to be able to implement a lot more of these upgraded policies and get more of what we want. So we actually have funds so we can get somebody in to help us craft that, what would be the best case for the situations that we have, both to comply with all the new permits, and for what we want for our area. So I have those funds lined up specifically to do those ordinance updates and policy updates.
Okay,
Angela?
great.
I was also thinking when you were talking about the funding that you have for cleaning up creek beds, our code enforcement is asked to do abatements in creek beds of homeless encampments. Is that something that maybe you would be able to participate in?
Like the grant funds can go towards that, or us?
Right,
water
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those funds are for cleaning up creeks and waterways. So,
Okay.
and there's specific line items in there for code enforcement. So, I think that would count. That's how we envisioned those funds being used.
I am going to let our code enforcement manager know about that and have him reach out to you then.
Yeah, and I think literally Jordan just got the signed contract for those like a month or two ago. So we're going to start doing those grant meetings for those kinds of things. We should have some regular meetings where we can start organizing some of these events to spend down those monies.
Awesome. I'm happy to help you spend down those monies.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let's spend this money. We always have a problem actually where at the end of a grant period, we have money we have to give back, and we don't want to do that. We want to spend out the money. I'd rather spend out the money like a year ahead of time and ask for more than to be at the end of the grant period, be like, can we get a time extension? Because we still have to spend like $300,000. That's really, it's a fortunate position to be in.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm excited to have you over there.
So Kelly, maybe you can keep that in mind for Clear Lake too, because we do have these rivers where the homeless are, making their encampment. So we're gonna need to keep that in mind for us also.
Yeah, those funds are for the whole clean water program. So for all partners, Lakeport and City of Clear Lake. So yeah, when we get the contractor to do like the illegal pickups and stuff, that's for the whole area, jurisdictions. There's no boundaries.
Good. I like that. I like it when we all work together. So any other questions, comments, public? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for all that information. That was great. So our next item 8 is an action item approving the CWP MC meeting schedule for 2023. I'm going to make one comment here. Is the second Thursday does work best for me. 2 o'clock, I have a night job, so 2 o'clock is, if as long as we go like we are today, it's great. But if we go into 4 o'clock, I'll have to leave the meeting. So that's, if we want to change the time, now would be the time to do that. So anybody, Angela, are you going to comment on this or?
I did, when I put
Okay.
these in the calendar, I believe they all fall not on days where there's City of Clear Lake Council meetings. That's if the council meetings are the same days as they were last year, the second and fourth, or the
No,
third,
First and
They're
third.
the
First
first
and
and
third,
third, so
yeah.
the second Thursday works, yeah.
right. So the second
Yeah.
Thursday works. And then when I actually put it in, because sometimes some weeks are weird, it did not fall on the day where there's a city council meeting, because I don't want you guys to have to double up on stuff. And
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, everything, so, yeah, so this will work fine, fine for me. How about everybody else? Anybody else got comments on does this work for everybody? Okay, no comments, all right, well then let's have I'd like to take a motion on this, because we do need to have a motion to approve the CWP MC meeting schedule for 2023.
So
I-
moved.
Oh, EJ, you beat
Wait,
me to
I'll give
it.
I'll give it to you. I'll second Marina's motion.
Thank you. I make motion.
Marina motion and EJ second. So is there anybody objecting to this meeting schedule? No, okay, then motion carries. So we're in the public comment period. We're at the end, guys. So I guess the only public person we have is actually Betsy, correct? Betsy, you have anything to say? Anything else to add?
You know, I've been involved in this program for over 20 years, and I'm just cannot thank you guys enough for making this real. Angela's done a fabulous job on moving this into the compliance area with the state water quality orders. I'm so grateful that we have this council now, and you're doing business and getting this done. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you, and I so agree. All of you guys do awesome jobs. I'm anxious. I've been on this, underneath this for a long time too. And Betsy, thank you for all her education, because she was the one that kind of educated me on all this at the very beginning. So I do really appreciate all your guys' hard work. It's really making this come together, and it's definitely over the 20 years has changed, and it's all due to you guys, all of you and your staff working hard to make that happen. So I appreciate all of that. So my comments are basically the same as Betsy's. Thank you so much. So, all right. So is there anything else anybody would like to discuss before we close?
The last thing is the city of Lakeport has gone through some major staff turnovers. And so the chair position and also the Maria Turner was there and her alternate was Michael Green. Both of them have moved to county and they don't have replacements yet. And they don't expect to get replacements until at least another month or so. So can we Joyce, are you okay being chair for the next meeting until we get the Lakeport folks solidified and on board so they are familiar with everything? Are you okay doing that?
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. That's
okay.
Fine.
Great.
All right. Okay. Well then, if everybody else have a great weekend. It looks like it's probably a 3-day weekend for most people. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. And so we will close this meeting at 2:57.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you,
you all.
everyone.